Hey everybody, welcome back. Christmas season's coming to a close here. So this would be the final Christmas themed movie video for 2025 at least. Could say it's wrapped. Sorry about that. And we have Prancer. This is the Blu-ray, titled from the blue case, and we have Boogie Nights, and we have Black Christmas. I didn't get around to watching The Green Knight, but there's still time. Today's the 27th. Yeah, today's the 27th, I believe. And so I have a few more days where I can squeeze The Green Knight in. I think that was the only one I had left on my list for this year. So, and that's in like this oversized package. It's almost like an elongated book from A24. So I could probably do a video on that movie alone. So we'll see what happens there. But for now, we have these three. So we'll start with Prancer, the Blu-ray, and I'm gonna move this over here. Look at the back. So stars Sam Elliott. A wounded reindeer and a precocious young girl form an everlasting bond in Prancer, a heartfelt drama about devotion, friendship, and the holiday spirit. Jessica Riggs, played by Rebecca Harrell, plays an angel in her school pageant, but she becomes a real guardian angel when she finds an injured reindeer in the forest. Convinced that the deer is Santa's one and only Prancer, Jessica vows to nurse him back to health and return him safely home. However, before she can carry out her plan, Jessica discovers that her father, Sam Elliott, has made another very different plan of his own. But as Jessica races to help her antlered friend find his way back to Santa in time for Christmas, wondrous changes begin to occur in the lives of the people around her. Changes which lead to a conclusion that will warm your heart on even the coldest winter's evening. Also starring Academy Award winner Cloris Leachman for The Last Picture Show, which is an incredible movie. Abe Vigoda, who's pretty humorous in this, and Michael Constantine. Prancer is an enchanting film full of heart and gumption, so says Roger Ebert. So this wasn't a childhood favorite of mine because I never saw it when I was a child. It came out in '89 and I somehow just missed it. It feels like something I would have watched, but never got purchased at the video store, and I don't recall seeing it on TV. So it was actually my wife who introduced me to this movie, and sometimes you watch a movie when you're a kid, and you go back and revisit it as an adult. It's like, okay, this isn't that great, but I really enjoyed this. I would absolutely pick this up again if it does get a 4K release. This is a shout release. MGM owns the rights, which I think Amazon owns MGM now. But yeah, I really enjoy this movie, especially the young actress here. She absolutely is very convincing and not irritable. A lot of times with child actors, if I'm not on board, they can really sink a movie for me, but I really like her performance in this. And Sam Elliott, of course, these types of roles, like the gruff, sensitive father, he's pretty much born to play these types of roles. So this is a really gentle movie. It's not overly sweet, and it was just a real nice surprise. So I think my wife and I probably watched this like every other year. We didn't watch it last year. I'm pretty sure we watched it the year before. So probably similar pattern next year. Probably not on the list for next year, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like Christmas 2027, this is getting another watch. Hopefully there's a 4K release out by then, because I would like to pick that up. So I'll put this over here. And then what do we got next? Next we have Boogie Nights. So this is, as you can see, a steelbook release. And this just came out a few weeks ago, I think. I have a little hairline scratch here. Really disappointing, but what are you going to do? Seems pretty common with steelbooks. There's always some imperfection on it, and kind of is what it is. This is, as noted here, written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. He just had one battle after another. That was the summer, right? I don't remember. I think it was a summer release. And I think this was his second movie. I think Hard Eight's his first movie. This is certainly the first movie I watched by Paul Thomas Anderson. I would have been in high school at the time when this came out, and like everyone in high school was talking about this movie. I remember seeing it in the theater, and it really blew me away. I was getting a lot of comparisons to like Pulp Fiction at the time. Like narratively, it's entirely different, but just from how stylish the movie is, how snappy the dialogue is, it's not surprising there were those types of comparisons back in 1997 when this came out. I do like this steelbook cover here. This was a Mondo poster years and years ago. I forget the artist. And even though the likeness here, I can't really say this really looks like Heather Graham, like Roller Girl, but close enough. It almost kind of looks like a mashup of like Heather Graham and Julianne Moore, who plays Amber Waves. But it's definitely Roller Girl, has roller skates, and she's got the heart-shaped glasses on, and the Polaroid camera, which is kind of something she's rolling around with for most of the movie. And then you have the rest of the cast here. Mark Wahlberg shows up a couple of times, and on the back we have this is a movie within the movie. So at some point in the movie, Amber Waves is doing like a documentary on Mark Wahlberg's character, and this is a pretty amusing scene. Dirk Diggler is talking about the freedom he has as an actor on the set when it comes to like create the character, and then he starts talking about how he's allowed to block the scenes as well, and Burt Reynolds' character is getting increasingly irritated as he continues talking. It's pretty good. And let's take a look at the interior here. So I have a collage of photos, which actually is in line with Roller Girl, because again she's taken Polaroids throughout the movie. Not that these are all her Polaroids in the movie, these are just various shots of the movie in this Polaroid layout, but seems appropriate considering the character. Just the 4K here, there's no Blu-ray included. Not a big deal for me, but I know some people like to have the Blu-ray as well when they spend the money on a physical release, which is understandable. And then we have the J card here. Let's see. Boogie Nights endures for its beautiful portrait of non-traditional families, for Reynolds and Wahlberg. Can you see that? A little bit. Not really. The surrogate father and son, who were never better. For Philip Seymour Hoffman, squeezing into character and breaking hearts. It's an interesting way to put it. For his prodigy director, sticking to his guns and nailing it. For John C. Reilly's hot tub poetry, and for Roller Girl. Is everybody ready? So it must be something that was written for Grantland, Alex French, and Howard Kahn. So Grantland no longer exists. That was a website, Bill Simmons' website. I think it just kind of transitioned to The Ringer. Well, no, The Ringer was a brand new site. Doesn't matter. But I don't really think that's the best write-up for this movie. Not too sure why they pulled that exactly, but no big deal. But yeah, a lot of long takes in this. There's a really cool iris out too that takes place poolside. Philip Seymour Hoffman's character is scanning the pool area and locks his sights on Mark Wahlberg's character, and it's a really good use of that film technique. And finally, we have Black Christmas here. So this is a Canadian film. This is a Canadian slasher film that came out in the mid-70s, though I didn't see it until it came out on 4K. So this got a 4K release 2022. This came out in 1974, but yeah, I never saw it until just a few years ago, and I was really floored by this movie. Like, a lot of times you have these, classic horror movies, and the horror genre, people tend to latch on to certain films, and they get really hyped up, and sometimes you go back and revisit them, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that was innovative, but I didn't really feel like it is all that great of a watch. This I don't consider one of those movies. In addition to being like very innovative at the time, it's just a fantastic slasher movie. Let's see what we have in the back here. So, the college town of Bedford is receiving an unwelcome guest this Christmas. As the residents of sorority house Pi Kappa Sigma prepare for the festive season, a stranger begins to stalk the house. A series of obscene phone calls start to plague the sorority, and it becomes clear that a psychopath has more than merriment on his mind. As the police try to trace the phone calls, they discover that nothing is as it seems during this Black Christmas. So this stars Olivia Hussey, as you can see her here. She was one of my first film girlfriends when I saw Romeo and Juliet in high school. I was a big fan of Olivia Hussey's Juliet. If I was Romeo, I can understand, calling it quits once Juliet departs. But I'm distracted now thinking of Romeo and Juliet. So anyways, that version of Romeo and Juliet is absolutely worth watching. Margot Kidder is in this as well. She likes to party in this movie, and so is John Saxon. He's in it too. But yeah, this movie absolutely blew me away. Really wasn't expecting much. Again, there's so many horror slasher films, and supposedly this was a big influence for Halloween, which you can totally see when you're watching this movie. There's quite a few POV shots in this that are really well done. I don't know if it is the calls coming from within the house movie, but from a horror trope, I really can't think of a movie earlier than this. It's probably out there somewhere. I'm really not too sure, so I don't want to say it originated with this film. But it's certainly effective, especially considering how old this movie is. I imagine at the time it was pretty surprising. And the backdrop being Christmas, this is just a really beautifully shot movie. Like, the budget wasn't very much at all, and it may just be due to my preference when it comes to like Christmas lights and what have you, like the incandescent lights, and there's a lot of like the red, green, and amber, and the 4K transfer here just gives everything a very inviting warmth, like the glow is very appealing to me. So I really love the look at this movie too, and I watched it with the original mono track, which I thought sounded excellent. It didn't sound too thin. So it looks like there was a restoration of the original mono, and then there's also a new, as a 2022 5.1 mix that restores missing sound effects and dialogue. So I'm not too sure if those sound effects and dialogue are entirely absent from the mono track, but considering that was restored as well, so I'll have to take a look at that. I'm not too sure what's going on. Normally I always watch the original theatrical audio first, and then depending on how I feel about any type of new audio mix, I may watch it for like 15-20 minutes, and normally I find myself going back to the original because it's typically just better. So this is a really great movie. So depending on your mood, you have Prancer, which is a nice, gentle, warm-hearted film, and then you have Black Christmas, which is quite a bit different, but certainly good to watch around Christmas time. So thanks for watching.